LEGO recently revealed 10 new Ninjago sets releasing in June and August of 2025, which range from barely noticeable to utterly groundbreaking. But ever since I saw them, I've been wondering, how new really are these sets? Because when you've had a theme that's been going for longer than the age demographic it caters to, you're bound to repeat ideas. The real challenge is repeating them differently. So in this video, we are going to be taking a look at some of these summer 2025 LEGO Ninjago sets to try and answer the question, is LEGO Ninjago repeating itself? Exhibit A today is the Ninja Combat Vehicle, which is a classic Ninjago combination of descriptive words, if I've ever heard one. If that name sounds familiar, it is probably because we had a set called the Ninja Team Combo Vehicle only last year. Combo, Combat, Ninja, Spinjitzu, Vehicle. It's like they never know how to name these things. Why not give it an actual cool name like the Ultrasonic Raider? This set also has another thing in common with the Ultra Trash Raider from last year, apart from its egregious price, I mean. This set also splits into multiple parts, and I can probably count on one hand the amount of times I've ever split a Ninjago vehicle into its multiple parts, but it's still fun nonetheless. Now I have to be honest here, I haven't really been into Ninjago lately, which you can probably tell by my lack of Ninjago videos this year in comparison to last year, and this is my first time really heavily inspecting these new images, even though they were revealed like a month ago. Not to worry though, I will still purchase all these as soon as they are available at my closest Big W or Kmart, which will absolutely and unequivocally restoke my interest for the theme, like throwing boxes of fake Lego into a fire. Now this set, contrary to this video's accusatory subject, is actually a new shape for a Ninjago set. Yes, we've had splitting vehicles before, once again that is a leaf taken from the Raiders playbook, and we've had many four-wheel vehicles before, but not exactly in this shape. The closest automobile, if you can call it that I can draw comparisons to in the Ninjago theme is Zane's Ninja Tumbler, not to be confused with Bruce Wayne's Tumbler. Also the Golden Dragon Raider, due to the colour and amount of Ford Rake, not to be confused with Ford Lake outside of Detroit in Michigan, America. And speaking of colour, this combat vehicle is red, just like a disproportionate amount of Ninjago vehicles, mainly because Kai is Ninjago's golden child, more so even than Lloyd, who is literally a golden child. In this set, Kai is delegated the role of Vice President of the vehicle, or maybe Wildfire is Vice President and Kai's the guy who makes them coffee in this scenario. But either way, the person actually piloting this is Frack, which is very interesting. This is the only set he appears in at the moment, so maybe they just wanted to give him a bit of time in the spotlight here, but can we talk about that figure for a second? The choice to cover his head up with a hood is certainly a choice, possibly in my top 7,000 choices of all time, but it is brought down by a need for eye printing, a tragic ailment all recent Serpentine figures have suffered from, but not the OG Serpentine, because those guys are goated. But this honestly makes me concerned for future moulded figures like Frohickey. That is if and when that figure gets made. We were so close with the City Workshops, like come on LEGO. This set also has these huge tyres, formerly used in a LEGO Technic set, and I really like them. They look just as chewable and delicious as the Technic G-Wagon tyres, if not more. Glad to see LEGO incorporating that here. But concluding this segment, I must say that the Ninja Combat Vehicle is a nice new take on a concept more tired than me after 10 hours of non-stop video editing. But Ninjago is after all a show about a team, so of course we're going to get many team vehicles, and whilst it borrows from other models before it, I think there's enough new material amalgamated with those classic Ninjago tropes to make a noticeable and notable impact on the mech-drenched landscape of modern LEGO Ninjago. So now we've covered a set that actually kind of argues against my case while simultaneously falling into those tried and true patterns. So let's next take a look at an example that perfectly encapsulates my grievances with the current LEGO Ninjago climate, Aaron's Spinjitzu Battle Mech. But before we dissect this children's toy like a frog in biology class, I want to quickly bring up why I'm making this video. Coming off of a 2-part dinosaur ranking adventure, I had intended to make a video about LEGO cargo trains as a follow-up to my passenger train video from last month. However, thanks to the effort or lack thereof by the Australian Postal Service, a spanner was thrown in the works harder than my controller through the television when playing a squads match of Fall Guys with random teammates. So with trains out of the question, the natural progression was obviously ninjas. But seriously, I get a fair amount of comments continually asking me for Ninjago content, so I will try and keep up with the new set releases, even though I've been in a bit of an experimental phase ever since March. But yeah, I basically thought, well, I've barely discussed the new Ninjago stuff apart from a few shorts. Let me make up some arbitrary argument about them so I can do something more interesting than the 5 million set reveal videos. Sorry, that story didn't really go anywhere. Back to the topic at hand, or should I say claw-shaped hand.
You see the quotations I'm making with my claw hands?
Aaron's Spinjitzu Battle Mech. Yuck, even saying mech and Spinjitzu in the same sentence leaves a sour taste in my mouth. Now this June is Ninjago Dragons Rising's 2-year anniversary, yet we have somehow already had 2 mechs tailored to Aaron prior to this one. The first being the baby in Lloyd's Baby Carrier in 2023, and then the Abomination from 2024 aimed at 4-year-olds. This mech here is designed to do a Skylanders swap force kind of thing with the Kai, Cole and Sora mechs from last year, which still litter shelves and seemingly never get sold. I do appreciate that both Aaron and Sora now have one of these mechs each. That said, I think if you're going to do these two, why not do one for Wildfire as well? Since her introduction, I don't believe Wildfire has been the primary owner or focus of any given set. In fact, after this wave releases, she will have appeared in this same suit in 9 different sets. 9 freaking sets, and in not one of them is she the focus character, and she only has shoulder armor in 4 of them. I think Wildfire is the most grossly neglected character introduced in Dragons Rising. And whilst we're on the topic of excessively overused characters, this set also includes the Baby Dragon Ryu piece for the 7th time in 2 years, even though Ryu is very far away from a baby at this point in the show. But as for the main mech here, it's very copy and paste, very forgettable, easily buried under the other sets in this wave, which isn't actually the fault of this set itself. It's due to the overwhelming amount of mechs that have come before it. And I'm not complaining about this, mechs are after all Ninjago's bread and butter. Obviously not every single one is going to be a groundbreaking and record-setting model like Cole's Titan Dragon mech, just as not every dragon set is going to be the Source Dragon of Motion. Whilst we're on the topic of dragons though, let's discuss another interesting set this wave, the Temple Bounty. You probably thought I was going to mention Rontu next, but we may get to her in a minute. The Temple Bounty is the 5th version of the Destiny's Bounty, 6th if you count the movie version, which I do, 7th if you count the 4+ version, which I don't, and 9th if we include the Hydro and Land Bounties as well. Combining a temple with the most iconic vehicle from the franchise is a very interesting choice, and one I'm surprised they haven't done before this. I mean, the bounty has been intrinsically linked to Ninjago's iconic dragon since the debut iteration, and now that we've had it combined with a temple, I can't wait until we get the mech bounty in a few years' time. But I don't really have any huge accusations of plagiarism to throw at this one. It is the new biggest bounty, beating out the movie version by nearly 100 pieces, but this is the first to include a stand to display it, although I am more inclined personally to suspend it in the air alongside the other ones. I definitely think there's enough new content here to distinguish this from past versions, even though it does blend in with the others at a glance. My main source of surprise with this set is actually the release date, June 1st in most places and August 1st in North America, because the last version of this ship, the Destiny's Bounty Race Against Time, released in June and August of 2023, only 2 years prior to this set's release. Historically, we have usually had a 3-year gap between major bounty versions, so it's interesting to me that they felt the need to reiterate this so soon. Having said that, the previous bounty retired at the end of 2024, so at the time of writing there is currently no Destiny's Bounty available from standard retailers. But this video is releasing on the 31st, so if you're watching this on release, congratulations. Tomorrow you can go out and get yourself a new one depending on where you live. But in conclusion to this section, the Temple Bounty is an interesting take on a long-running staple of the series, and only time will tell if this is a memorable variant. And the last exhibit I want to inspect today is Rontu the Master Dragon. She is of course the counterpart to Eagle the Master Dragon from January 2024. By this point, Ninjago dragons can be relied upon as consistently as the sun rising every day. No matter what style or direction the series is going, you can bet your grandmother's life that there will be a dragon set. The only season never to have an accompanying dragon set was season 8, and for context there are around 20 seasons of Ninjago, give or take a few, and it has been going since 2011, so only one dragonless season is actually a remarkably low number. I'm going to tentatively declare that Rontu is the first fully purple Ninjago dragon. Unless something slipped my mind, there's been dragons with purple highlights, such as the Nindroid Mech Dragon, the Overlord's Dragon, and the half-purple, half-tan Arc Dragon of Focus from March this year, but I'm pretty confident in saying that this is the first one to have purple as its primary colour, or at the very least the first one to have purple and pink as its colour scheme. The shape doesn't particularly strike me as anything unusual or universe-changing. It's pretty standard as far as a dragon nearly 15 years into this theme can be. But let's go back to the question posed near the beginning of this video. Is Ninjago repeating itself? The short answer, yes, it is. But that's not exclusive to this theme. Every different LEGO theme repeats itself. It's kind of the nature of specialised themes like this. And it is not necessarily a bad thing either. Every repeat Ninjago concept is just a new chance to do it better than before. And Ninjago is, to its credit, always one-upping itself, even if for every Cole's Titan Dragon mech there is at least one Aaron Spinjitzu mech. But I am very excited for this new wave wave of sets, and I hope that this video today gave you a bit of a new perspective on this theme, or at the very least entertained you. As always, let me know down in the comments section what you thought of my takes on these sets, and if you would like to see a follow-up video where I discuss the incredible Ninjago Legends sets, as well as the other few sets in this wave that I didn't cover today. That's been all for today, folks. Have a great day, and see you in the next video.